Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my ex-husband in front of his employees? Am I the a-hole for sending my father's girlfriend's daughter a message on Instagram? Am I the a-hole for how I reacted after I saw what my wife posted about me online? Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my ex-husband in front of his employees? We divorced because my ex didn't believe our son was his. I didn't get anything in the divorce because he was being nasty and I was just distraught and wanted it all to be over. His sister stayed in contact with me because, unlike everyone else, she believed our son was his. Earlier this year, she told me my ex was going to contact me for a paternity test because she had shown him a picture of our son and now he was starting to doubt himself. I will be 100% honest and say I didn't want to agree to the test, but I know how my ex is and I knew it was better for me to agree than to try to fight him on it. We did the test, and surprise, surprise, he is the father. Now he gets visitations, but excluding the first few meetings, I'm intentionally never there when he's spending time with our son. For the past month, he has been texting me and telling me I can't keep avoiding him forever, and we needed to talk about our finances and our son's future. I ignored him for a long time, but his messages made it clear he wasn't going to keep waiting for me to agree, and I didn't want him to blindside me. So, I agreed to meet him at his office because I refused to go to his house or have him come to mine. Anyway, he brought up the divorce and was claiming he wanted to make things right for what happened in the past. I got really annoyed because he was making it seem like something that just happened to both of us and not something he did. He was also making it seem like I should just rug sweep everything and we should go back to how things were before. I was furious and I yelled at him. He told me to keep my voice down, so I got louder and louder. I aired out a lot of our dirty laundry, which I knew would piss him off. I only stopped when his assistant came to tell us his next appointment was on the line, but she could tell him he had to cancel. After I left, he sent me a text telling me the conversation wasn't over and told me off for embarrassing him in front of his employees, and he claimed the entire office heard, which is definitely BS. Am I the a-hole?
NTA, but I really don't understand how you guys could be divorced before he got the paternity test. Even if he didn't want to get one, did you not have a divorce lawyer? Is his name on the birth certificate? Surely somebody in the divorce process insisted on establishing paternity to determine his legal responsibility towards the child. Lawyers are expensive. AFOP may have sufficiently financially burdened, as well as blindsided, exhausted, and hurt, that she elected not to bother, especially if her husband was wealthy and determined enough to get a much better lawyer and do his best to wreck her. She may have just decided, fuck it, let's just be done with this. I'm not saying it was necessarily the best decision, but it's an understandable one. Could you be more self-defeating? So, you got nothing in the divorce that occurred because your husband thought your son wasn't his. No thoughts about forcing a paternity test so you could get child support. Your husband does a rethink, so you give up the one benefit you had from his insistence that your son wasn't his, distance from him. He wants to make it up to you, however badly done. You choose that very temporary enjoyment of embarrassing him, giving him evidence of your being unstable, suggesting that his not wanting to stay with you was reasonable, and, perhaps, that your son might be better off with him. Leaving without any financial support. YTA, because you didn't accomplish anything by embarrassing your ex, you just gave him fodder. ESH. He's definitely wrong for leaving you and making it awful when you got divorced. You should have pursued the paternity testing and support for your son. When things were going badly, you knew the child was his. Shouting solves nothing. Making a scene at job solves nothing. You're making a bad situation worse. Calmly listening to him, agreeing to nothing, then going to a lawyer, would be the wiser thing to do. Now it's time for him to pay for his son and for being nasty when the divorce happened. Keep a level head and talk to a lawyer about custody, visitation, and child support. You need to keep calm to get and keep the upper hand. Don't share too much with his family and follow your attorney's advice to the letter. This guy sounds like an abusive and I cannot believe all of the other commenters asking for his side of the story. Do you people not understand that when you're dealing with someone abusive, it's generally helpful to have an audience BC, then he can't just gaslight you into his narcissistic POV that says that you should sit there and take whatever he chooses to give you BC, you should be so lucky. And I feel like the people who are trying to be fair and balanced with this prick are glossing over the real reason why he's contacting her in the first place. His relationships after the divorce have probably tanked and now he wants her back. This man is such an that he clearly just expected her to take him back without so much as a hold on a minute there, even though he clearly doesn't give a shit about her or his kid and obviously has some sort of ploy in mind that involves. I wouldn't be surprised if he struggles to remember his child's name, since he did basically abandon his child with his ex-wife and ghost both of them. Yes, she kinda rolled over in the divorce proceedings, but the incident in his office clearly illustrates that she was probably exhausted from dealing with him by the time that happens. BC having to constantly walk on eggshells and defend yourself all while being gaslighted into apologizing if you dare defend yourself, even the tiniest little bit, is one of the most mind-numbing and soul-draining experiences.
Am I the a-hole for sending my father's girlfriend's daughter a message on Instagram? My 19-male father has been dating this woman for 6 months and I went to dinner with them and met her daughter, 19-female Mary, for the first time at my father's house. I tried to be polite with Mary and we mostly talk about books and movies. I don't really have a lot of friends at the moment and was nice talking to her. She told me that she was going to see a specific movie that week. I have already seen that movie and really liked it. The night ended and I thought everything was fine. Later that week, I found Mary on Instagram and sent her a message saying hi and asking if she had already seen the movie. She answered me coldly saying that it was invasive of me to contact her like that and there was no reason for us to talk outside of our parents' events. I was really surprised by that. My father also thinks I shouldn't have done that and it is mad because he says this will hurt his relationship. My mom is on my side. I didn't have any weird intention. I have been trying to make more friends and thought this was an opportunity. I don't want to create problems for my dad. Am I the a-hole?
I have seen this a number of times, and it both confuses and annoys me. I have been on chatting apps, and or chat room things, and social media in the past, and came across someone who seemed interesting who I might want to get to know, or who I think is cute and just strike up a generic friendly conversation, hey, how's it going? Or hi, how are you, only to be met with disdain, or disgust for me messaging them. Like how dare I try and strike up a conversation with someone with a public profile on a site made for social interaction or made specifically to chat with strangers with this person who put in time to put stuff on their profile for people to come across and get to know slightly or show interest in and yet didn't take the time to put on their profile or anywhere easily visible that they are assholes that for some reason took time making a profile only to not want to talk to anyone on such platform. Seriously, I have come across it many times. Even being blocked by just saying hello or ignored from the beginning. Like why even put effort into a profile stating what you like and the kinds of people you want to meet as well as stating stuff like message me or send me a message if you're just gonna be rude right out of the gate. Really NTA, but most people don't like surprise messages. It would have been better if you had asked her beforehand if she used social media and would like to add you. I'm guessing she was being nice and polite for the sake of her mother. So while you two happen to be at the same house or out socializing at dinner or wherever you are expected to be at least nice and polite to each other. But beyond that, she may want nothing more from you. That is her right. She didn't ask to be a part of their relationship. Just be nice and at least civil to her. She may warm up to you. Or maybe not. That is her right as well. Don't take it personally. Oh, and block her from all of your social media. That way if she wants to know what's on it, she will have to ask to be added and not just troll. Couple things. It sounds to me like you both assumed the tone of the other. She may have assumed you were hitting on her or that you wanted to be closer than your mom's girlfriend son type acquaintances when you were trying to be friendly. You may have assumed coldness when she was just being firm in her boundaries. Fact is, you went to track her down to continue a conversation away from its context. Most people are fine with that. She clearly isn't. For her, it felt invasive for the random kid of her mom's boyfriend to seek her out to talk and form a relationship of any kind with her. They aren't step-siblings yet, and their parents aren't engaged or anything. If this is the first time they met, parents might not even be that serious yet. She doesn't want to be friends and she doesn't really have to. Telling you that isn't cold. She didn't tell you to fuck off and die. She stated that this wasn't appropriate for her. It's like when a random coworker or new neighbor finds me on social media and DMs me. Like dude, we aren't that kind of friends yet. In the future, ask first. NAH. NTA. My dad remarried when I was an adult and already married, but my stepmom also had 2 teenage sons from a previous marriage. We're not super close, but I'm always happy to receive messages from them. They got to live with my dad, whom I respect and love, but let's be real, we all know the pros and cons of living with our parents when I was grown up and married, so I could relate to their struggles. We'd always see each other at family events, yes, but that doesn't mean we couldn't be nice when we ran into each other in public, or that messages have to be malicious. Now that I have kids, I can't imagine trying to explain to them why some of their aunts and uncles are nice and others aren't. We're all friends and my kids get some lovely bonus uncles. Definitely NTA to want to get along with possible future family. NTA I would say NAH, but I do not know what the daughter was thinking when she replied to you. It was a nice gesture, to try to make friends and bond with a girl who could end up being your stepsister, but she also could have been uncomfortable, because she thought you were hitting on her, and possibly asking her out. A friendship with her may take time, if it ever happens. You are a stranger to her, and it may take time for her to trust you, if she ever does, but be aware of how she may feel. I hope she eventually does warm up to you, so you two can at least get along, but if she doesn't want to be around you then don't push it. Sometimes people just don't want to be friends and that's okay. NTA it's not weird or wrong to reach out and try to make friends with her. I'm sorry you were treated like that. You tell your father that if his relationship gets serious to the point of marriage someday, he should expect you to play the role of nice family, because it's clear to you that none of them want a connection or a friendship. This won't hurt his relationship unless they make it a thing. If they make it a thing then it's them being drama queens. That's their problem. Try not to let it bother you. Also, to protect yourself, maybe tell him you don't want to meet anyone else in the future. It's okay to want and make boundaries for yourself and enforce them. Those people are ugly and maybe it's best for you that they want to remain distant. Who wants ugly people in their circle?
Am I the a-hole for how I reacted after I saw what my wife posted about me online? What's up, folks? I'm bringing this conflict to you to see whether I was wrong in my actions. Here we go. So I had an accident that resulted in my left arm being broken over a month ago. My wife took good care of me and handled most chores, but then I started slowly helping out like I did before to get tasks done and do my part. It all started when I saw my wife had posted about me online, Twitter, ranting about how slow I was doing the dishes, accuses me of pretending to be incompetent, leaving out the fact that I have only one functional arm while the other is broken. I wasn't snooping, but the laptop screen was so clear to look at from a distance. I looked at a few comments and they were bad-mouthing me, but one person I recognized was my wife's coworker and new friend. In her comment, she posted a GIF that consisted of some sort of a garbage truck with the words, "Man Disposal Service." Yes, the entire man. And my wife laughed at it, approving of the message. I had a WTF look on my face. I was deeply hurt. She implied I was a garbage and disposable, but again, she probably doesn't know the entire truth as my wife purposely left out the fact that my arm is broken. I was livid, immediately confronted my wife, calling her unbelievable, and she accused me of invading her privacy. I asked her why she lied about me being perfectly healthy while I'm actually suffering from an injury causing me to do things slowly, and she argued that she was just venting in general, since all her friends vent about their husbands. But I told her her behavior was damaging and she had no right to harm my image in front of her friends just to gain sympathy and support. She blew up, reminding me that she is indeed in need of support since she's been doing the majority of chores ever since I got injured, and accused me of being oversensitive and selfish instead of being grateful for what she's done for me in the past month. She stormed off after telling me I was controlling, disrespectful of her privacy, and ungrateful for what she's done for me.
NTA, but your wife is. An acceptable way for her to vent would be posting about your arm being broken and feeling overwhelmed trying to do it all herself. Bonus to that version is that she probably would have gotten empathy rather than fake sympathy from online friends and possibly even offers to pitch in until you're better. I would be requesting that she remove the post and post a public apology to you, this time including the fact that your arm was broken, how much you usually do, and that you have been doing what you can as you heal. And to that with her thanking you for how much you usually do, since it's obviously a fair bit if she's bitching that much about how much she's done since you were injured. This needs to be higher up. I hate how much people abuse the idea of venting. It's just like how much people abuse I was drunk when I did that, or it was just a joke, geez, or I was just frustrated at the moment, I didn't mean it. Everything we do is a reflection of us, what we believe to be true, and what our values are. Your wife lied about your situation to take part in what seems to be a regular BTCH fest with her friends. It may be a small thing, but I'm going to bet there's a long history of her making things up about you to friends, and this is just a continuation. Venting is blowing off steam, not making up stories, to make yourself look better, feel better, participate in gender bashing, etc. I agree, she needs to own up to the comment and apologize, both to you and online. NTA. There's this weird ball and chain phenomenon with married people, I don't understand it. Two people fall in love and are best friends, live together, and then decide to get married, and then join the ranks of other married people, where this grand inside joke is that they all secretly despise and resent each other. It's weird and outdated and only makes marriage harder. Married people seem to like to commiserate, so they make themselves and their spouses miserable so they can join the party. It's not cool to have a spouse you actually like, apparently, you know what adults do. Communicate. If she had a problem with the dishes she could have talked to you. But she didn't, and she doesn't. She wants cool married miserable wife points so she can be amongst her miserable wife friends. It's like a tween learning about edgy humor and not realizing that while it feels cool, it actually alienates the people who care about you, leaving you with the other empty edgy people. If that's her choice, then oh well. You don't have to put up with it if you don't want to. If she really wants to prioritize these miserable friendships over your relationship, let her and go find peace elsewhere. Hopefully she can see that it's not harmless and y'all can get on the same page. I agree. I understand that many couples are legitimately unhappy. But I see so many that fall into this routine of badmouthing the other person because that's what everyone else is doing. They oversimplify their partner down to being a caricature doltish husband, nagging wife, whatever. It's poisonous. NTA, OP. She was way out of line to complain when you're injured. Lying about your spouse to fit in with the cool kids is pathetic. Twitter is a public forum and she left it up on a screen, so that whole privacy argument is null and void. Being grateful for someone's help means saying thank you, not allowing them to slander you online. And having to do the majority of the chores for a month is not a big enough hardship to require that much support. If she can't handle that without ending a gold medal in the persecution Olympics, she needs to grow the hell up. She also owes you an apology for the post and for her tantrum afterwards.